All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I'll post daily Las Vegas Raiders content. That like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a statement, make a prediction here. I don't see the Las Vegas Raiders losing another game for the rest of the season. I do see them winning their next 6 football games. And you know who agrees with me? Well, apparently the ESPN projection, the model, also agrees with that statement. It's quite fascinating because this team is, they're 4-7, right? When I look at the schedule, I'm taking it week by week, all right? I just see this team continuing to be resilient. I see this team continuing to persevere against all odds, just like last season. Watching these behind the shield videos on the Raiders YouTube channel, just seeing the culture, watching these games, these guys they're bought in, all right? They're bought in, and you know what's the best part? They have each other's back. Before we get any further into this video, like I said earlier, if you like Daily Raiders content, hit that like button, hit that sub button. But guys, I want you to drop down below right now, who's your favorite, slept on, underrated Raider to play? I'm going to give my answer, Darren McFadden. I think Darren McFadden was just super cool. But guys, it starts this upcoming week. Now, the Raiders are riding just this great wave of momentum in every single sport. In fact, in every facet of life, momentum is everything, right? Momentum is quite literally everything. This Raiders team just put up 40 points for the first time this season. We saw something similar to when they played Houston. However, the difference is Houston sucks and the Seattle Seahawks are a great football team. Now, the thing is, it wasn't always pretty, right? And I know that saying, making the prediction that the Raiders will not lose a game for the rest of the season, and you know what that means? That means the Raiders would make the playoffs. It comes down to the defense, because this offense, against all odds, against the way they started this season, they're the 10th best offense currently in football. All right, I don't see a reason why that will slow down. They just won 2 huge road games. Denver has one of the best defenses in football. I know Russell Wilson sucks, he's desperate, etc., but they beat Denver. That was an exhilarating game, and that kickstarted that win in Seattle. Those are 2 extremely difficult places to play football. And when I take a look at this game on Sunday against the Chargers, I'm doing some research on the Chargers now. I'm looking at their schedule. I'm looking at their games. I'm watching the film. I'm like, this team kind of sucks. They really suck, actually. Don't let their record fool you. And if you're a Chargers fan watching this video, I'm sorry, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but I don't know how they're 6-5. The difference between them being 6-5 and the Raiders being 4-7 is just the ending to a couple of these games. And what sucks with the Raiders is, man, if we were just 5-6, I truly think a lot of people would agree with the fact that they're going to be making the playoffs. I understand Raiders fans want to be, you want to keep your emotions in check. You want to be smart about it. It's just 2 wins. It's their first back-to-back win of the season, but something switched, all right? And regardless of how the rest of the season goes, something has switched, all right? I know Josh McDaniels isn't making the best play calls all the time. I know Derek Carr makes his mistake. I know the defense just gave up 34 points. I understand all these things. The good news is the defense was getting better up until that last game. They held Denver to 16. The Indianapolis, Jacksonville, the Saints games. If you can give up between 20 and 25 points, but you can score over 30 each week, you're going to win some football games. The way I see it, if you're putting up 30 every week, which the Raiders, in my mind, and a lot of us agreed, this is what I was saying all offseason, I don't see why they can't be the 3rd best, even the best offense in the National Football League. I don't know, man. It's going to start with the Chargers. So let's talk a little bit more about the Chargers. The Chargers currently have the 3rd worst defense in the National Football League. 3rd worst defense. All right. The Chargers, I think you could argue, I know the Raiders are kind of taking it home right now. They might be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? of course, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Basically, they have not exceeded expectations. They haven't even met expectations. But like I said, they're 6-5. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're actually looking like they're going to make the playoffs if they can just get things clicking. But I think Las Vegas just shuts them up this week. And one thing I've really noticed so far this season is, regardless of what happened the week before, regardless of how they're playing, like Derek Carr literally threw an interception on the first possession of the game. And they'd still put up 40, right? They play hard when they need to play hard. We saw it in week 4 against Denver. We saw it in week 1 against the Chargers in LA, which was a just really disappointing, brutal defeat, 19-24. But, it was the first week of the season. Anyways, 4th week, play Denver. 32 points. Just great win. Followed it up, primetime Monday Night Football game against Kansas City, and it's just another one of those games where they looked so good in the first half. I mean, they looked like a Super Bowl team in the first half. And then things just became, they lost the game by 1, right? So, and man, of course, I just remembered that 4th down. Anyway, we're going to move past that. Divisional games, this team comes ready to play. So, Vegas could be 4-7, they could be 7-4, they could be 0-11. They're going to come here hard to play at home, riding this momentum against the Chargers. All right, and to me, it's going to start with this running game and limiting turnovers, to be honest with you. Obviously, the defense has to do its job. If the defense can just hold the Chargers to, and this is just desperate, under 25, which is what they're averaging right now. They're giving up on average 25.1 opponents' points per game, which is good for the 6th worst in the NFL. And you can just put up those points against that weak defense right now. I know they've dealt with injuries, et cetera, yada, 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 but so is every team. The run game is going to be critical against the Chargers, in my opinion, because I look at Derek Carr, I'm looking at these stats, I'm watching these games, I'm thinking, Derek really hasn't done a bad job this season. He's completing 63% of his throws. He has about 250 yards a game, 18 touchdowns. There are the 7 interceptions, but, especially the first couple of weeks, he was just getting decimated in the pocket, didn't really have much time to throw, which forced him into some bad decision-making. Still has a QBR of 92.3. And this offensive line has gotten so much better, specifically in the last 2 weeks, where I feel good about this offensive line. Seattle has a really good defense, and for so much of the game, especially in the second half, Derek had so much time to throw, and that opens up the running game. And when you have the running game, when you have Josh Jacobs, who's having a career year, he's averaging over 5.4 yards per carry. He has 9 touchdowns on the season. He has almost 1,200 yards, which is good for over 105 yards per game. I look at him and I'm like, hold on, they just ran the ball 283 yards against Seattle. They threw for 293. There's only been 3 teams to ever have more than 275 yards, both rushing and throwing. And it was in 1978, 1986, and 2012. So they joined history. They made history, right? I know it's crazy, but I want to hear you guys down below. If you feel the same, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. I love reading your guys' comments. Let's get that victory on Sunday. I'll make I'll probably make a preview video. I'll make a couple more videos, but that's it for me. Peace.